Super delicious, sliceable coconut flour bread with 5 grams of protein per slice. Volume on, this gets toasted.
Hey friends, today we are making an updated version of my 2017 Keto Coconut Flour Bread recipe. I've had lots of requests to see if I could get more height in the loaf and also options to remove the xanthan gum. So if you've been following me for a while, you know I'm in midlife, I'm 54, and my recipes now have taken on a different approach. I have many classic keto recipes. I've been a recipe developer since 2011. And so now, though, in midlife, what's most important to me is having food work for me, not against me. So everything that I eat, I want to have protein in it and dietary fiber in it and to feel really good about the ingredients. And so something that had been bothering me for a while about this bread is the xanthan gum, and I know many people don't want to use it. So I wanted to remove that. I also felt like I didn't probably need the sweetener. So these are some things that I've changed, and I value your comments, especially if you've made my bread, the keto coconut flour bread, back in 2017. So many of you are shying away from almond flour for good reason because of the oxalates. And coconut flour is just a little bit trickier to work with because you can't swap it one for one with almond flour. So that's why measurements matter. Weighing and measuring everything really does matter. But in the end, it's worth the effort. I also tried to whip the egg whites in this recipe instead of put the eggs all together in the bowl. And I did not notice a difference much in the height. That's what I was looking for in the volume. So it's an optional step. If you do want to whip the egg whites, you may be able to get it a half an inch higher than the original loaf, but it is completely up to you. So swapping out the xanthan gum, I've decided that unflavored beef, grass-fed beef gelatin was the best option. Why? Because it's great for your gut and it gels things, it holds things together. So it will still give the bread structure and it won't be as gummy as using xanthan gum. Now I'm going to show you the exact steps on how to make a delicious coconut flour bread that is not dense and can actually hold up for a real sandwich.
For this update, I decided to separate the eggs to whip the whites and see if this would help with the height and the density of the texture of the bread. This step is still optional because I do feel like you still get a great texture even if you choose not to whip the egg whites. To the bowl with the egg whites, I use a teaspoon of vinegar, but you can also use cream of tartar. Next, add 2 tablespoons of water with gelatin to a microwavable cup, or you could mix this on a pot on the stove. Let it sit for a couple of minutes before you heat it up. Mix it until smooth and set it aside. To the bowl with the yolks, a third of a cup of water and a third of a cup of olive oil or avocado oil. I'm adding salt. I remove the sweetener. I'm adding a half a cup of coconut flour, a half a cup of ground flaxseed, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. You can certainly add sweetener if you want. I just use a little bit of vanilla extract. I feel like the taste is still delicious. You don't taste coconut flour or ground flax when you add the cinnamon and the salt. Your oven should be preheated to 375 degrees. Mix in the cooled gelatin into this batter. In my original recipe, the temperature of the oven was 350 degrees for 45 minutes. For this recipe, I'm doing 375 degrees for 10 minutes, and then we're reducing the temperature to 350 degrees for another 35 to 40 minutes so that the center is not moist and completely cooked through. After folding in the egg whites as best you can without deflating them, I did this in about 3 batches. You are going to then line an 8x4 loaf pan with parchment paper. You could probably also use a silicone pan, though I haven't tested that. And I have tested other breads and muffins with silicone, and they do need to cook longer to completely cook through. Again, this step of separating the yolks and the whites is optional, but I do feel that it gives a really great texture to the bread. It's not eggy or dense at all. I topped mine with sesame seeds. Once this comes out of the oven, you do want to let it sit for 30 minutes before removing from the pan. My original recipe was for 14 slices, but I feel like 12 slices is a better size piece. Once cooled, you can store the slices in the refrigerator for up to 7 days. You could freeze with parchment between the slices if you prefer. And on the counter, 2 to 3 days is best. This is Midlife Macro approved. It has 137 calories per slice, 5 total grams of carbs, and 5 grams of protein, 11 grams fat, and 3 grams fiber. So this is the end piece. And I have to say, whipping the egg whites has definitely made a lighter, airy texture to the bread. I actually really like it. It's very soft and it tastes like honey wheat bread. I love it. Even without butter.